a compelling alternative.
Here we
The
go.
best ability is availability, as they say.
Doing another.
The third major engine was the company's relationship with its dealers. IBM had long sold through its own sales force, but with the IBM PC, IBM started selling to retailers like Sears, Businessland, and Computerland. However, conflicts arose. Those retailers did not appreciate that their partner was competing with them. Early on, Compaq differed in that they made the retailers their only distribution channel. Co-founder and founding CEO Rod Canyon liked to say, "Keep the seller sold, and a dealer done right can be the best distribution mechanism." It helped them save money by not having a big and expensive sales force, and it also engendered dealer loyalty. A salesman at CPU Computer Center said in an interview at the time, "I view that as a real big plus for me. I can sell a corporation a single IBM, maybe two. If they decide they want 100 of them, they go to IBM and get a 30% discount, and I lose a big account. But for Compaq, they have to come to me." This was an early advantage that helped the company achieve its fabled growth. But as we will get to later, it also eventually became their fatal weakness. After successfully launching the Desk Pro 386 and leading a revolt of PC clone makers against IBM, Compaq seemed to be firing on all cylinders. Everyone admired their instant success. The business media fawned over their ability to pick the right products at the right time. Magazines like Business Week wrote praise-filled profiles about Compaq's seemingly unique style of business. In 1990, Rod Canyon sat for an interview with Harvard Business Review. Harvard heaped praise on the company's consensus-oriented culture and seemingly contradictory style of doing business. Quote, "But what is most intriguing about Compaq..."
Hi, I'm Ben, and I'm here at Jayco to share an amazing opportunity to win this incredible Jayco Mercedes-Benz all-terrain camper van valued at $168K. Let's go take a look.
Is a series of counterintuitive notions that combine to create the company's management process. In an industry that is driven by innovation, Compaq defines innovation as staying within the boundaries of accepted industry standards. Because the company's labor costs are so low, says the CEO, the company must hire its people very carefully. In a company that has achieved such remarkable financial results, cost ranks relatively low on the list of manufacturing priorities. The issue with these statements, the last one in particular, was that price did end up being very significant. If you recall from my video on hard disk drives or HDDs, the reason why nobody made money in making and selling HDDs had to do with their modularity. There are four major components in an HDD. Each is precisely engineered, but they're all largely independent of one another. So, if someone improved a particular aspect of one component, they can quickly slot it into the final product and bring it to the market. The same with the IBM PC clone ecosystem. Fundamentally speaking, a PC is a modular box with a keyboard and monitor, powered by an Intel chip sitting on an IBM-derived hardware architecture running Microsoft OS software. In the early days of the PC clone industry, it took careful engineering to put these components together and make them work. But by mid-1985, the ecosystem's quality had improved to such an extent that you can throw them together and they will work together with relatively few issues. Thus, in the end, just two things mattered to a computer's perceived performance: Microsoft's OS software and Intel's silicon. This became increasingly obvious with the Desk Pro 386. That iconic computer inspired a generation of market entrants from the United States and East Asia in particular, and it was easy for them to get a 386 and MS-DOS and introduce their own high-powered PC superclone. Take the fall 1986 edition of the Computer Dealers Exhibition or Comdex show. Held in Las Vegas, Comdex had once been amongst the biggest trade shows in the world. The Desk Pro 386 release triggered a multitude of 386-equipped PC clones at that Comdex show. Many were just prototypes with mass availability in 1987, implying a rush to the market. These other super clones from Dell, Gateway, and such were just as powerful as Compaq's products, and cheaper too. The price difference might be because the computers themselves were made with cheaper materials like plastic, or assembled using offshore labor. Or it could also be the business model. Companies like Dell or CompuAdd cut out dealer markups by directly selling through telephone or mail order, like how Sears once sold stuff. Dell, in particular, often ran big advertising campaigns at consumers and small businesses, comparing their offerings and prices to Compact's, taking no prisoners. Consumers consistently paid a 67% premium for a Compact compared to a similar Gateway 2000 system. Yet Compact was slow to respond to this or even acknowledge it was happening. In December 1990, Michael Swavely, president of Compaq North America and Canyon's second-in-command, told reporters, "You can charge a premium price if you build the best machines." Just a few months later, Swavely retired from his position as president. Was Compaq really making the best machines? They were certainly fast to integrate new things into their computers. The issue, however, was that they produced few of those new things themselves. In the late 1980s, they invested only about 4% of their revenues into R&D. So they found themselves beholden to critical partners for their own progress. In one notable event, Rod Canyon writes in his memoir, Open, about confronting Intel's paranoid mastermind Andy Grove in late 1989. Canyon needed Intel to finish their 486 chip, but Intel was instead pulling their best people to prioritize risk development to fight Sun Microsystems and their Spartan chip. In that story, Grove eventually decides to shift back to the 486 and the Pentium after that, but it illustrates how Compaq was dead in the water without its partners. But beyond that, Compaq also missed opportunities to open and corner new markets. In early 1984, Rod Canyon badly wanted Compaq to do a laptop, apparently because he wanted to work on one. But Compaq never produced something without first doing market research, so they did that, and a young market researcher showed that though a market existed, it was then not that big. Canyon accepted this and set it aside. He later cited this incident in the 1990 Harvard Business Review interview as an example of their pursuit of information truth. Then, in 1986, Toshiba released the Toshiba T3100. It was not quite a true laptop because it needed an external power source, but it did have that laptop look and sold quite well. Despite what seems like an obvious shift in market demand, Compaq took until October 1988 to introduce a laptop of their own, the SLT. A fine laptop, but it was starting to feel as if Compaq, built to take on IBM, was ill-equipped to keep up with this rapidly changing business environment. Yet despite the intensifying competition and lack of self-generated innovation, Compaq continued to grow revenues and profits. While other computer companies like Apple Computer and Sun Microsystems struggled to resist the attack of the clones, in the 3 years from 1986 to 1989, Compaq's revenues multiplied 5 times over to $3 billion. The secret behind that growth was the company's European operations. Those were run by a former Texas Instruments executive from Germany named Eckhard Pfeiffer. Pfeiffer first joined Compaq back in 1983 to build out the fledgling company's European operations. With little guidance from the American HQ, their attitude was basically, if it happens, it happens, he transplanted the dealer-only structure across the United Kingdom and Europe. Compaq ignited huge growth in what was a largely untapped market dominated by IBM, Apple, and Olivetti. The British subsidiary turned a profit in its first month. He then opened a swath of new subsidiaries all across Europe and led the construction of a new Scotland factory to keep costs low. By 1990, over half of Compaq's revenues came from abroad, mostly Europe. Pfeiffer was the company's second highest paid executive after CEO Rod Canyon himself. Unfortunately, things started going downhill in the middle of 1990. In August that year, the first Gulf War breaks out, causing oil shocks that roll through the rest of the economy. There is a mini recession. Various information systems departments around the country had to grapple with lower company budgets. This price consciousness accelerates the clones' growth and forces Compaq to cut hardware prices. But more worrying than the macro stuff was a growing divide between how the company's management and its other stakeholders perceived the landscape surrounding Compaq. Chairman Ben Rosen, one of the original investors, grew concerned about Compact's ability to keep up with the competition. In an oral history for the Computer History Museum, he said, "Well, those 2 decades, the 80s and the 90s, are massive changes of the industry, and in both cases our management didn't move as fast as the industry. We started moving faster than the industry by creating it, but then there are a lot of other smart people and good companies in the world, and they went after us. We didn't move fast enough." In May 1991,
this pan will never peel off, never wear off, and never leach, because it has no toxin. It's the first non-stick with 0 coating, and we need a pan that's non-stick and can handle high heat. This pan is perfect for that. The Always Pan Pro holds up better than anything I've ever used in my kitchen. It's 300% stronger than stainless steel. You can scrape it, you can slam it, you can scrub it, and you can set it on.
Box is here. We're not finished yet.
Enemy allies fighting. The final abyssal has appeared. Enemy squad halfway eliminated. That squad has only 1 survivor. 4 teams remain. Half your allies are down.
Let's keep going.
3 teams left. Meteor Soul captured. The storm is closing. Base camp captured. Allies in combat.
For good.
Final showdown.
Here.
The final abyssal has been. Your oracle is online. Warning, storm closing.
Oh, that was... think they're all bots except me.